Hi, I'm Jeff Chamberlain. Students often call me Dr. J, which I enjoy. And I'm director of the Meyer Honors College. And it is my privilege to be the director of the Meyer Honors College. One of the things that distinguishes honors at Grand Valley is the first year interdisciplinary sequence, the foundational interdisciplinary sequence, which does a lot of things at the same time. It brings you together with another group in a cohort of students that you get to know really well throughout the year because it's a year-long sequence.
It is really neat when you just have two professors and such a small amount of students. We all grow so close and we're all still friends, which I think is really cool.
One thing that's important to note about sequences is that what it fulfills generally tells you what you're going to be learning about and the perspectives that you're going to be using in your sequence. So if your sequence covers a science, there's a pretty good chance that somewhere in your sequence you're going to be either going to the ravines or being in a lab and kind of learning more of the science side of whatever your sequence is looking at. If it covers a history or a literature or a perspectives, that's going to kind of be what your sequence is talking about. So that's a pretty good indication if you look at what your sequence fulfills and the lenses that you'll be using when you're studying whatever it is in that sequence.
Yes, so every sequence will be challenging. In fact, I'm always interested to hear that most of the time students in each sequence think they've got the most challenging sequence. But they're challenging for a reason. They're not work for the sake of work. They are heavily reading intensive, they are writing intensive, and those things once again set you up for really important abilities later on. There's also problem solving and teamwork skills that you develop in the process. Presentation skills that you develop in the process. All of this is part of the sequence, and almost every sequence will have all of these elements in them that, again, benefit you later on as you grow and develop.
It's one of the reasons I'm passionate about teaching first-year students. I actually think you see more growth in so many ways during that year than any other period at the university.
The best students are the ones that are engaged and are thinking and are asking questions and are willing to step out and try something different and are willing to question something that a faculty member says. Not all faculty members will tell you that, but don't just take what you hear, don't take what you read for granted. Ask questions. Be questioning about it. Think about connections you might make. Don't let all of your classes be insular. In fact, that's the whole idea of the sequence, is you're hearing different perspectives and you're supposed to be able to make connections, and the more you are able to make those connections, the richer your experience will be, but the bigger benefit there will be for you too.
An outstanding honor student is someone who is completely engaged in every way with course content, but beyond that with sort of the world around us, with wanting to become a more informed citizen. It sounds a bit cliche when I say that. And with wanting to live a personally more rewarding, meaningful life. Someone who wants to be able to walk in an art gallery and know what we're looking at, can hear great music and understand what we're hearing, has some sense of the history of the entire world, right? Can point out the sort of the key events in the history of our cosmos or our planet or species on Earth or humans. Someone that wants to be pushed constantly to do their best, right? There's like a cliche, no one ever rose to low expectations. So my job is to keep raising that bar, and a student's way of succeeding is to keep pushing themselves in an exciting way. It's not an onerous, it's not a burden. It's like, wow, who knows what I'm capable of unless someone keeps pushing me to see what my potential is, right? So you want to come into any class in honors wanting to have people help you achieve your potential. What can I do with my life? What can I do in the world, right? I'm not going to know that unless I'm constantly being pushed. If you like that thought, then these honors classes, all of them, are for you.
All of the things that you're going to learn, all the connections are going to be worthwhile. And you may not see that initially, but they're all going to be there. And the more that you can own your own education, and the more that you can be questioning and asking how things connect and really working through that and being active in class. It doesn't mean you have to be the one that's always, asking the question in front of the class, but talking to your professors after class, or talking to other students about the things that are being discussed in the class. All of that ultimately helps you be both a better student and ultimately somebody who's going to be able to function in this world in a very, very specific and rich way that's going to be beneficial to you and all of society.
How this process works is after you receive more information about these sequences and watch your videos, you're going to choose your top 3 and send them into the Meyer Honors College. From there, our advisors are going to look at what courses you've already brought in through AP, IB, and dual enrollment, as well as what your major is, and help you choose what sequence will best fit those general education requirements. From there, you'll be able to take your sequence in the fall.
It became very clear that your professors want you to succeed and they'll do what they can to help you do well. And I think all of us across the board were successful in the course in the long run.
Although not every sequence has to do with your major or necessarily your field of interest, these sequences do help fulfill your general education requirements and each have very, very positive aspects to them that will help you both as a student and as a person. It's important that when you go in, maybe during your first week you're really overwhelmed or you're nervous about it, to go in with an open mind and engage yourself. Make sure you're doing the readings and trying to keep up with it. These professors have studied these areas of interest for years and are very passionate about it, as well as helping you grow as a student. So make sure you're going in engaged and ready to learn, because each sequence is going to help you grow as a person.
What separates honors is that you get to walk with your professors, not just me, any professor you take for a sequence. That professor, or those professors if it's team taught, are experts in that particular field. They take you into that world and you get to walk with them, we get to walk with you, and it's an experience of such depth, of such passion, of such learning. It is really something.
They're a lot of work, but they're also a lot of fun.
You could go anywhere, but you've decided to come to the Honors College, and we're honored to have you.